No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, says the Lord. Hello there. You seem to have caught me reading the Bible. Ironic that today's person of interest, Danoby2, doesn't seem to like people talking about the Bible. But that's as far as I'll go on that end for now. As you all know by now, I am Lio Convoy. Sorry that we have yet another drama video so quickly, but this one's been on the docket for close to a month now. Before we begin, I must give you some backstory, some lore, if you will, concerning this topic. This all started when my friend Michael at Retroblasting received a Java's sail barge from a gentleman in Australia named Brent who couldn't get it from his US shipper. Following that, Michael was slandered by another YouTuber by the name of Danoby2. Danoby claiming that Brent was made up, and that this was all some scheme for Michael at Retroblasting to get an item he publicly stated he didn't want. You can find all of Danoby's videos on this, and Retroblasting's final video on this in the Google Doc in the description. What evidence did this man produce to accuse Retroblasting of this? Absolutely none, because he's a moron. But this doesn't end there. Last year, I did a video takedown on Danoby's nonsense, and just last month, Danoby hit me with a DMCA takedown order, claiming I was using his copyrighted info. I won that case, and the video is back up. More has happened between these events, though, and it's time I bring them all to light. This is why this video is on BitChute, in fact, because the amount of data and the type of data I'm going to put out about Danoby would surely make him copyright strike or privacy strike the video there. But here, he can do none of that. Danoby, this is where all your lies, your sordid criminal past, and your underhanded, immoral actions get exposed. Let's start with his interactions with Retroblasting. I detailed the initial lies, but there's something a bit more telling here. When Retroblasting released their final video, having Michael call out Danoby by name, Danoby2, Danoby privacy struck the video to get it taken down. He also went on to accuse Michael in a follow-up video of doxing him, claiming he was being harassed and his family was in danger. That's a funny joke, Danoby. Funny that you think people calling you out for being a liar is harassment. And let's be honest here. Your family wasn't threatened. You just knew your name being public would lead to people finding dirt on you. Your claim is that your legal name isn't public by ordering that privacy strike. But what's this? A Danoby channel ran by you with your legal name made public? Oops. Looks like you did an oopsie. So what is Danoby2 hiding, may you ask? Well, if you run a simple check on any of the various websites for checking people's public records, emphasis on the public part there, you find that Danoby2 has a sordid criminal past. 2 accounts of trespassing, 2 accounts of theft, and 1 with no description. I don't feel I need to dig further on that one. Just know going forward that this man has a history of not understanding boundaries and being a thief. We'll get into that a bit more later. Now, concerning his lying, let me bring up something that happened in the background. A couple of things, actually. After Danoby2 issued a privacy strike against Retroblasting, Michael had enough and emailed him, hitting Danoby and his lack of morals straight in the chest. How did Danoby respond? By all but admitting that this was him making allegations to create controversy and gain subscribers. Because the man is a grifter. Speaking of grifting, let's talk about one of Danoby's now deleted videos. Here we see a contest he decided to run during all of this. Let's take a listen.
I don't mind being proven wrong. If I'm proven wrong, I will hold the contest, right? I will do a live stream picking of, and here's the best part. To enter my contest, once this barge gets to Australia and provides sufficient enough evidence, right? All you have to do in the comments on this specific video is hashtag the word Brent. That's it. And that puts you into one drawing into winning an actual HasLab Java sail barge. And if you would like a double entry, right? Go ahead and buy one of those cheap, crappy mugs underneath this video, and I'll count that as a second entry into the contest. So if you want 2 chances to win a HasLab Java sail barge, which I will ship free of charge to any audience members that enters my contest on this specific video, right? You will be able to win a HasLab sail barge. So let's go over these rules one more time. in the comments below on this video, hashtag Brent gets you 1 entry. Buy one of those cheap, crappy mugs beneath this video. That gets you a 2nd entry, right? Multiple comments doesn't count. 1 entry per comment, a 2nd entry of the mug. Again, if Michael from Retro Blasting can prove that that barge in his collector's room ends up in Australia in the hands of Brent.
So you have to comment for 1 entry and buy a mug for a 2nd one. That's what we call a raffle. And what's Nevada law say about this since he lives in that state? Well, firstly, you generally have to be an organization or business, which Danoby is not. Also, you have to make sure purchase entries and free entries have the same chance of winning, which Danoby violated immediately by having people that buy his mugs have a 2nd entry. Then again, the man already has a criminal past, so I'm sure exposing this won't bother him one bit. Granted, I make no claims that he'll be convicted for any of this, but it is a gross misdemeanor. At least, according to the law. Let's move on. People were in the comment section following his wishes on this video, and I bet people bought mugs too. Michael did get the barge to Australia and to Brent. So who won the extra barge? No one, that's who, because Danoby2 is a liar. He just wanted to grift his own fans. Maybe because that barge is going for around $1,200 now, and he doesn't want to part with it, but who knows? This is, after all, the same man that started all of this because Michael said something mean about a toy he wanted. And this man also did an entire video crying about reissued figures because other people having something he has upsets him. But let's get closer to present day. After the copyright takedown was sent to me about my video, I immediately offered a counter notice, as my video was commentary and well within fair use. It's a note to tell you all that the clip I used that Danoby2 panicked about was less than 10 seconds long. After this happened, I informed Michael and he reached out to Danoby demanding an explanation. Danoby tries to claim that I should have just minded my own business and that I used his copywritten material and that's all this is about. I also emailed Danoby directly about this when it happened, as his email address is public. I made it very clear I wasn't playing these games. Almost a week after that, Danoby responded, claiming this wasn't about fair use and how I'm just fighting a battle for retro blasting. The intent behind his email, as you read it, is to claim retro blasting and he were in cahoots about the barge incident to farm viewers. But as I have access to those emails, as Michael never has anything to hide, I knew this wasn't true. He tried to de-escalate with me, even threatening litigation. Danoby2, I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. Do not ever try to play that game with me. I don't de-escalate. I go full scorched earth. Michael is a peaceable man. I am far more comfortable with conflict. I've been hunting actual predators for years now, and I've been dealing with lying clowns like you my whole life. You were dead on the ground before you reared your fist back to hit me. Danoby told me he was going to take this to court, of course, and my response was to tell him he knows where to send the papers. Bold? I don't think so. You see, for him to actually take me to court for this, he has to come to my state. That's money he won't get back. And he has to try and prove that the less than 10 seconds I used infringed his copyright and was not within fair use. But what sunk him well before that was actually this. In a DMCA takedown, you have to sign your legal name. This buffoon instead just listed a descriptor of the reason for removal. The clown failed to actually sign what is essentially a legal document. I didn't notice this at first, but my pal Coyote Lovely did, and we had a good laugh at your expense, Danoby. Thank you for your stupidity. As I suspected, the 14 days passed, and the claim on my video was released. Because you were too much of a pussy to follow through, Danoby. In the words of DMX, you better bust that if you're gonna pull that, and you didn't. No surprise, really. You had no backbone as it is. You see, a couple of days ago, I got a new complaint on that video. A privacy complaint. And the timestamp for that is 0.00. Danoby is literally too stupid to even put a time listing in the report. We're coming to the end, but we're not quite done yet, Danoby2. I know you have a family. I've seen at least one of your kids in a video you did. Keep in mind, the majority of your videos are reviews and customs of nude figures. You putting a child in at least one of them will signal things to YouTube's algorithm. Ironic, since you claim channels like Retro Blasting were responsible for COPPA instead of channels like yours. It's in the Google Doc, folks. Read it up. While your channel isn't really responsible for COPPA, your lack of moral values in this community is still an issue. I have detailed that you are a liar, you're a swindler, and you value getting a toy more than you do your fellow man. You claimed earlier that you were protecting your family by hitting Michael with that privacy notice. But the truth is, the biggest threat to your family is you, because you will raise a generation of kids that'll share your same lack of moral conviction. The best thing you could have done as a father is learn from your criminal past and do better for your kids. Instead, you just moved those old bad habits onto a new platform. Make no mistake, Danoby2, your channel is a cancer, and it is my fullest hope that this video causes your channel to plummet. For those of you upset about that statement, don't worry. He has a full-time job. I know what your job is, homeboy. I even left you a voicemail when you filed the DMCA. But I'm not going to contact your employers about this. I probably should, but I won't. Your sins are yours, and it's within the scope of YouTube and the collector's community to address it. I will not attack you by forwarding this to your workplace. While you're a human piece of garbage, your kids don't need to suffer because of your evil any more than they already do. You want to play pretend that you're being big here? Raise your kids with better values. Next time you want to play big man and bump your chest out at someone, you better know how hard they'll hit back. If you're going to hit the king, you better kill the king. To those of you watching, I'll ask you to place your comments in the YouTube video that directed you here instead of this channel properly so the algorithm picks it up and it gets circulated along with this man's name. And Danoby, don't be surprised if you see this video popping up on channels that aren't mine. Your credibility is shot and you no longer have a place here. I'm asking everyone to share this video in any toy groups you're in, rules permitting, and among your peers. It's time we hold people accountable for their scummy actions in this community. And Danoby still owes someone a sail barge. Danoby, I know you're stupid and petty, but keep in mind, you've got nothing on me. Unlike you, I don't have a record. You took your best shot and blew it. Don't be dumb enough to come at me again. I'm Lio Convoy. Please, take care. Special thanks as always to my patrons. If you want to support me, links in the description. I'd also like to personally thank those of you who stood by me, and especially Michael French of Retro Blasting for having my back during all this as I had his. Take care.